Does this apply to desserts too? If you eat your dessert before your meal?
Yeah, you know, if you do a cake and you don't let it cool and you put the icing on too fast, you can destroy it.
So what you're saying is dessert before your meal is actually.
Oh, you should always eat dessert first.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you take a cake out of the oven and you don't let it cool before you ice it, then you can destroy it. Now I'll still eat it, but but it's probably not going to be, for most people, probably not be as enjoyable as it could be.
And that's why we're doing it. That's why we're slowing our
putting the icing on too fast. Yeah, there it is. Don't put the ice on your house too fast. So take your time, let the house cool, let it marinate. Let the meat marinate, like you marinate meat. You know, the barbecue, they let it marinate. Let it marinate, savor it, think about it, anticipate it, and then when it's done, it's gonna be badass. Wait a minute, I can't. Oh, I said that. I already said it. So.
We'll just bleep it out.
Beep.
Well, welcome back to Uniqueness Built In. I'm Cassidy, your host today, and I am with Mike Garabedian of Garabedian Properties. For over 35 years, we've been building luxury custom homes. And so today we are talking about slow is fast, fast is slow. What does that mean, Mike?
Slow is fast, fast is slow. When you go
Seems like an oxymoron.
Yeah, but it's not. This is important stuff. When you go fast, you often miss things, which slows the job down. When you go slow and more timely, and this as it relates to construction, actually with anything,
really?
Yeah. I mean, writing a paper,
writing the questions
painting,
for
this. Painting a room, writing the questions for this, or even making a meal, cooking. Not that I cook, but when you go fast, you can miss things. You may not have all the materials and the items you need to do the job. So what happens is you get to a point, you have to stop and go back and come back later to finish up. So it slows you down. When you go slow, you're deliberate. You make a list. You check your list, like Santa Claus. Check it twice. You make sure you have
4 or 5 times for Garabedian Properties.
If you're on the naughty list, and you make sure then you go back and make sure you have all the materials available to do your project. Make sure you have instructions out to everybody, so when they come in, they can knock it out really quick. As it relates to construction, a lot of people want to see activity every day. They want to see people on the jobs constantly doing things. And then what happens is, by forcing that activity, you can actually slow your job down by not having the guys being as productive as they should be.
So what happens when maybe an owner moves too quickly throughout the process, or maybe they didn't think through something on their custom home?
Oh, that's great. So our process, we do home planning, design, and budgets. We actually are very deliberate, take our time, and we try to slow our owners down. We as building professionals, we can go really fast. We've done this for 30 years. We can knock things out. We can make a decision. We can walk into a room and tell where a light needs to be or what a flooring color. We knock it out. For a family who doesn't do this on a regular basis, they can make a decision, but sometimes they aren't at peace with that decision, or they have to think about it. And if you force them to think about it or make a decision before they're ready, often they may not be at peace with it, and they may second guess themselves, and they may stop the job, say, I want to look at it again, think about it again, or they may change their mind, so we went really fast, we got a decision, but we slowed the job down because we had to stop later. So we want to be deliberate in our decision-making process, and we want to be deliberate with our owners taking their time to think through things.
How do you do that? Because it's so exciting. Our owners are really excited to get into their home, probably ready to get out of their rental home if they decide that they want to rent out a space while they're waiting for it to be built. So how do you slow them down and say, you need to be at peace with this before we move forward? So
when we're interacting with our owners, we see them going fast, and we think they're maybe making rash decisions or just making decisions to check it off their box. We serve as a governor, and we kind of slow them down. We'll ask them questions about, are you sure? We give them pros and cons. We think about it. We maybe send them home with homework. We'll send them home and say, let's go pull some pictures and make sure that's what you want. Let's go back to the appliance store and check the appliances one more time. And sometimes folks will get a little frustrated with that, but we're not doing that just to be mean. We're doing that to give them a chance to digest the decisions of one of the biggest investments they'll ever make, so that when they finally make that decision, we're all at peace with it. We can rock and roll and get on down the road.
How do you know that an owner is at peace with a decision?
Your gut. And sometimes they never are. But if you give them enough And you know, we're the same. We do a spec or we do a project. Sometimes we second guess ourselves. It's human nature. We all do that. Everybody wants perfection. Nothing will be perfect. You can have $1 million budget, a $5 million budget, a $50 million budget. It will never be perfect. But you want to be as close, your goal is to make it as close to your vision and as close to perfect as possible while still moving the project down the road. And sometimes you just have to take time to digest it.
Right, absolutely. So, I mean, when people say they want to move quickly, what are some of the typical items that you see that get overlooked?
Oh, this is great. So a lot of times you say, well, we'll make our decisions later. Let's get started and we'll make our decisions later. Well, the challenge with that is, let's use electrical for, so I don't know what kind of pendants we want over our island. Okay, so we go ahead and wire the house, and then we come back, oh, we want to put 3 instead of 2, or we want to put 4 instead of this, or we want cans instead of pendants. That's all great, but if the electrician's already wired your house, you have to pay them to come back and pull those out and put the new ones in. So anytime we can have questions answered earlier in the process, the less opportunities there are for cost overruns or surprises in the budget. And once again, we're doing this for their benefit, not ours. I mean, we can change things all day long. I'll build the house and tear it down and start over again if they want to pay for it. But ideally, that's not the best way to do it.
For sure, yeah. So let's talk about a little bit more about the electrician coming back. So what are sort of the items that an owner should be cognizant of if an electrician has to come back and rewire the house? It's not the entire house if they just want the one extra pendant over the island, is it?
No, usually no, although we've had come close. So, common deal, I want to add an ice maker. Cool, love ice maker. Well, to do an ice maker or any type of appliance, you have to have what's called a dedicated electrical circuit. You can't just stick a plug in there. You have to pull what's called a home run in from across the house and put a breaker space in there and what have you. So to have an electrician do that, while he's wiring the house, it may be $700 to $800. If you had to come back and do that on a special trip, it may be $1,200 or $1,500, depending on how long the run is and what you're putting in there. So once again, if we think through our appliances or our light fixtures ahead of time, and electrical is the easiest one because that's where we have the most variances, then you have a chance to get better value when they wire the house.
So what are some other reasons that moving slower throughout the design process actually speeds up the construction?
So, and designers will often concur with this as well. When the owners make fast decisions, sometimes they come back and see something on TV, or they'll see a friend's house and say, "Oh, I want to change my mind." But if they're rushing us to do the install, then we've already ordered the product. We're maybe already installing. Maybe we already scheduled a trade. When you schedule the trade, you have to commit them to work. And then they say, wait, well, no, I want to change something around again. It's okay to change your mind, but if we take our time in the decision-making process and we don't pull the trigger until we're ready, we can eliminate unsurprising or surprising variances. Much like bourbon. So, you can go get, if you want to just go get a bourbon real quick, you can go grab a bourbon off the shelf and get something, knock it out, $15, $20. You want the good stuff, you're going to have to take a little bit of effort to find the good stuff. So when you're having a big event or a big party or something like that, you're not going to, Boone's Farm is not a bourbon, but you're not going to serve a Boone's Farm or a $15 bourbon. You're going to serve something good.
Like a Weller's whiskey.
Yeah, Weller's, or of course my favorite is Blanton's. So you want to serve Blanton's, but it takes a little effort to go find the Blanton's, and it takes a lot, 6, 8, 10 years to age a Blanton's Gold. So you spend extra time to make it. You spend extra time to find it, but when you serve it, it's a better experience for everybody.
Absolutely. I'll drink to that. Are we opening
shots?
So we talked a little bit about the problems of changing their mind throughout the design process, but what are some of the problems that come from rushing the construction? So
paint's another great one. We typically like to put paint samples up on the wall and let the owners see it, or on the trim, what have you, in the house. Let them see it, maybe put it in several different places. We've had folks that say, oh, no, I don't need that, it's all the chip, I'm good. And we've painted entire houses before, and they come in and go, oh, God, and they don't like it as much as they thought they would. So now you have to decide against, do you repaint the entire house at a cost, or do you live with it and maybe not be quite as excited about the paint as you were hoping to be? We have had some owners that have had us do multiple paint samples across different places of the house with different lights, sunlight and shadows and what have you. And when they were done, even though it may have added a couple of weeks to the process, they were ecstatic and happy with the paint color. So we took our time. We were slow in doing the paint approvals, but when we got our paint approvals, we were fast to be able to knock it out and paint the whole house, and they were happy.
Yeah, paint is a great one, and I mean it covers the entire house. So that's quite a big project to have to come back and redo. What other decisions should never be rushed during construction?
Well, I'd say you don't rush picking your builder, but that's another one. No, there's so many. Tile is another part of the house that we often have challenges with. Sometimes folks will see the tile in the box and they'll say, put it up, and that's fine. And then we sometimes we'll put up a sample or put some pieces dry. We'll just lay the pieces out, let them see the feel. But no, don't worry about it. I picked it. We're happy with it. And I've put entire floors in. I put showers in and what have you. And owners would come back, no, I don't like it.
What are those reasons that they don't like it? Is it because it just doesn't feel like it goes with maybe some of their fixtures, or what is the main reason?
Too many to go. It could be their expectations of what it would look like don't match what it looks like to them, and it's very subjective. It's subjective,
sure.
Or possibly it's, oh no, I bought. Folks, we changed the color of our hardware. That won't match our new hardware. Well, nobody knew about the hardware changing. So it could be, no, we're going to change the color of linens and towels in the bathroom. We're changing our window coverings and stuff. There's dozens of different reasons why. 9 times out of 10, it's something that the builder or the tile setter never knew about it, and there's no way to know about it. But if we take our time, we lay the tile out, we have our owners come back out and look at it, either on the floor or on a section of wall, and talk through, will this work with your paint? Will this work with your bathroom? Do you feel your bathroom? Are you happy with this? 7, 8 times out of 10, we can avoid conflicts. Can't avoid every conflict, but we can.
Sure. And so we kind of touched on this in the beginning, but how does indecision, when maybe they're not at peace with the decision, how do those indecisions make the construction time go a little bit longer?
Well, so so if somebody makes a decision quickly and says, no, go with it, I'm fine, and go with it, we know their personalities, and we can kind of get a sense of, they're good with it or not good with it. If we sense that they're not as sure about it as they should be, or if we're aware that there are other consequences to that decision, we're going to try to slow them down and make them think twice. And we'll often ask them questions again. Are you sure about this? I want you to look at the sample one more time. Here's a picture. Have you thought about this? We'll ask them a lot of questions to prompt them. Because folks are busy. The house is the biggest investment they're ever going to make. Most people are ever going to make. They're excited to get in. They make the plans. They sign the contract. They make some selections, and they get going. And then it's like molasses watching it being built, and it can wear them out. And then they have to work, and kids, and games, and church, and shopping for Christmas presents, and all the things about life come in. So they get so engrossed in what they have to do day to day that the decisions, just whatever, just get the house finished.
Yeah, not to mention they spend so much time designing the house and making these decisions. They're probably worn out from having these conversations about the house. Just build it and be done with it.
Yeah, if you buy a car, you got the car. When you get the car, you're driving it. That's fun. If you pick the car and you buy your car, you order your car. That's pretty exciting. Okay, great. We ordered our car. We want it now. But if you went to the factory and watched them make the car and put every wiring harness in and put the bolts in and set the engines and test it and all the stuff, it would
hurry up.
It would kind of say, yeah, come on, hurry up. I want to go race.
Yeah. So, why are you working on other people's cars?
Yeah. Move my car to the front line. Isn't it the same thing?
Right. And this is being shown to everybody in the neighborhood. So everybody knows, it's going up, and they're driving by it pretty much on a daily basis if they can afford that time to go look at the house. And if it's a huge investment, so we want our owners to come and visit the property as it's being built, and we want them to ask us questions. But in turn, we're going to have to ask them questions too, and make sure that they're okay with all their decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the last minute changes, we kind of touched on this too. If the construction is pretty much done and they want to come in and they want to change something at the very end. How does that factor into this process, and why does that take more time?
Well, we're kind of getting into changes and we call them enhancements. One thing that it's important for folks to understand and remember is these trades, we don't have enough trades right now. The good ones, there's plenty of not so good trades, but there are guys that are learning, I should say. But the good trades, they're in high demand. So if they're allocated 4 to 6 hours at your job, at your house on a Wednesday, they have 4 to 6 hours of work to do. If you give them more work to do, which is fine, we can accommodate that, but what happens is, since they weren't prepared for that, they're going to have to do what they can and leave and go, because they have to go to somebody else's house or somewhere else, another part of town needs them to do work on because they want to get moved in, and they'll have to come back at a later time to do the work. So if there's going to be changes or enhancements to the job, the sooner we know about them, the sooner we can document them and prepare them. Sometimes that means the more prepared we can be, the more timely we can be, and sometimes that means we cancel the electricians. So the electricians, I love electricians because we do so many different things with wiring, but sometimes we would cancel the electricians on Wednesday and tell them to come on Monday, the following Monday, so we have time to go go pick up the light fixtures or make sure the wiring's correct or mark it or document what we need to do to make sure that when they come on Monday, they can actually work and get something done versus showing up on Wednesday and doing half the work and having to leave.
Right.
So being prepared.
And so this also adds on more cost to the total project, does it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So why does it cost more?
Okay, so electricians are plumbers are allocated how many hours to do a trim, put in sinks and faucets. So if you come out and say, oh, we're going to add 2 more sinks over here, or we're going to add another, I want to change out this drain, or I want to move this drain here, you're allocating hours and time. So they're going to charge us for that, and they're going to charge us a premium for that, which we have to pass on to our owners. And there's other things involved too, is now those plumbers that were going to be there for 4 hours are either going to leave after 4 hours and not finish, or they're going to stay and finish, but now there's another job and there's another homeowner somewhere else across town that's not getting their plumbers on time. And they can't get moved in, or they can't get their projects done. And often we have our owners will say, well, there's nobody here today. Why? Because somewhere else, somebody else's owner added a whole bunch of stuff to the job, or something came up and they got held up. So when they're supposed to be there for half a day, they're there for 2 days. Mm-hmm. So yeah. We went fast to get something. We tried to change things and get something done and squeeze it in, but it slowed us down.
And so can you recall a time that happened to you where you were trying to save time, and maybe it's not Garabedian Properties, or maybe it's a story from a trade that was moving too fast but ended up costing significantly more? Oh,
absolutely. I remember one time we had an owner, we had some tile, we special ordered this travertine mosaic product. It came in, because the manufacturer shipped it in 2 different times, it came out in 2 different sizes. And it was maybe an 1/8 of an inch difference in the size, but you couldn't make it work. There's also some color variances too. And I told the owner that I recommended that we don't install it, that we wait and we order a replacement, and we get the replacement out here when we do the floor correctly. They were wanting to go fast and get it in, so we installed it. We paid for the install and the prep and all that came with it. It got in, it didn't work. We didn't have enough material. They didn't like the colors. It just didn't work out. So then we had to pay to remove it. We had to pay to clean the floor, and we had to order new material and relay the material. So we paid for 2 installs,
2 or 3
1 demo.
Dipping, yeah.
And we ended up, because we waited 2 weeks to order material, we would have had, by the time we had demoed the floor, the new material would have been there, we would have been ready. And I get it. Finish my house. I want to get in. I want to enjoy it. I want to have a pool party, but.
And so, how do you have these conversations with owners? Because they do want to get moved in, and you want to quell their excitement, not stifle it, but we're kind of the words of wisdom here. because we've been doing this so long and we understand what it takes and everything that goes into it. So
we want to finish. I mean,
Right,
we
of
love
course.
we love them. We want to hang out there. We want to finish. We got other things to do. I want to go have a pool party too. I don't want to be working every day. So we want to finish the house. But we also know that when we rush, I mean, after 30 years, and there's a lot of of my dear friends in the building industry will tell you the same stories. After 30 years, if you go really fast and knock out a house to get them moved in, you're going to have a whole bunch of warranty stuff and other things to deal with after they move in, or you're going to come back and redo things. So then, instead of moving in and being a piece of your house, you may have trades coming in your house for a month, 2 months, 3 months, sometimes
that's
6
even
months.
worse
Yeah.
than seeing the house being built, is living in the house and
You get
not
moved
being able to enjoy it.
You get moved in. I mean, I think I'm an enjoyable person to spend time with, but apparently people don't like seeing you at your house every few days. And I get it. We don't want to be there every few days. We have other projects to attend to. So being slow and deliberate, it's like, they say the tortoise wins the race.
Right, exactly, right. We've talked about the cost and how that can be more money later on if we move too fast. But what are some of the hidden costs, not monetary costs, that come with moving in too quickly?
Well, moving in too quickly
or moving too quickly.
Going back to okay, so cabinets. If you have we often our rule is we don't approve the cabinets until appliances are approved, and we don't do our electrical until appliances are approved and cabinets are approved. So we've had some folks that wanted us to go ahead and just get the electricians working. We'll do our cabinets. We won't change anything, but things do get changed. So then what happens is the cabinets are approved, and the electricians already wired the house, and we have to come, it does speed up the process. But then we have to come back in and rewire stuff, because once we get our cabinets drawn, we can mark out on where they go on the walls and all that. We see either have conflicts or issues, or they added lights or what have you and pull more wires. So if we had waited a few weeks and got our cabinets done first, we could save. And I've had people go $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 over on electrical because I've had the changes after cabinets. So.
And so, are there any other examples that you have that are beyond money? Maybe people aren't happy with it and they have to call you later, or maybe messing up the way they live in the house.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple times where they want to get in. They want to get in. They say we'll wait for we'll back order something or something. We can't get something that maybe take a while, and because of that, they just move into the house, and we have to come back 2, 3, 4 months later to put it in. And we don't mind. We'll do that, but we want the process to be as enjoyable as possible. We want the ownership of the home to be as enjoyable as possible. And after 30 years, you kind of get a sense of what works and what doesn't work. So if we coach you, if your builder coaches you that maybe we should take a step back and think through this a little bit, there's a reason.
How often do you see owners rushing through decisions?
Probably 60% of our owners.
So you're coaching them. You're coaching all of these owners.
We try.
Yeah. That's hard. I mean,
and the flip side is you have some folks that are hard to make decisions, and then you have to coach them on getting to a place of peace. Some folks, it's challenging to commit to something, and so this is an art. It's not a science.
Well, so let's talk about that. How do those conversations differ from the owners that move too quickly, that are making rapid decisions? The owners that are maybe a little bit slower to get there.
It will, when they do that, when they're taking their time, we will often push back certain benchmarks of the process, electricians, cabinets, trim, whatever it might be, to give them time to make their decision. Because we don't want to start, once again, we don't want to start doing things, have to come back and spend tens of thousands of dollars to redo them later or have conflicts. And what that can do, if our owners, they think we're punishing them or we're trying to delay, no, we're trying to make sure we do this right. If we don't do that, then we go ahead and go forward with what's on our sheets, and they come back later and make a decision that contradicts that, then we have to spend a whole lot of time and money to get it back to what they want. And it slows the process down. And then when you have a house that runs really slow because of indecision, what happens is you get near the end of the house, and everybody's rushing, and want to get finished. And we see this all the time. And then they get in, there's paint touch. There's all these little things that need attention after they move in. I can tell you unequivocally, the happiest owners we have are the ones that give us time to finish the house and do our punch and prep beforehand. So and I tell all my buddies will say the same thing. If you give your builder an extra couple of weeks to go through and knock it out, do your paint touch up, do your adjustments, your service calls on that before you move in, you're going to be so much more happier. And your builder will too.
So let's talk again about the tortoise and the hare.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire race, the hare is in first place. Mm-hmm. So why does a well-paced project feel slower, but actually finishes faster overall?
Well, maybe it doesn't finish faster, but maybe it gets to completion faster. And there's a difference there. So you can rush a house through. If we want to have a race, we might have done that before. You race your buddies, you can finish the house first. You can have a race to get your CO, which is your certificate of occupancy, which is your green tag from the city to move into your home. So you can get a race to get your CO. So you may finish, but you may have so much to do after you finish that you're not finished. So giving your builder, making decisions and being timely and confident about your decisions, it's taking your time, being slow to make your decisions, not glacial slow, but slow and thorough, will give you a better product in the end. And it's all, everybody, yeah, you can finish your house a month earlier. But in the whole scheme of things, without the amount of money people are spending in these homes, a month extra time in the house, or even 2 or 3 months in some cases. I've had, in the whole schemes of things, that's a great trade-off to making sure we get it done as well as we possibly do and make sure you're happy.
Right.
Don't rush your builder.
So how does proper sequencing play into all of this? We have trades and things that have to come. We also have the CO that we have to get for our owners to move in. So how does sequencing play into the construction process or impact the timeline?
I digress. I know. So I was talking to my daughter who does some stuff on shows, and we're talking about how it used to be. We used to have like Frasier or Seinfeld. Everyone waited the whole week. You waited until Seinfeld came on, and when everybody experienced Seinfeld together, was it Thursday or Tuesday? I forget whatever night it was. And then you talked about you enjoyed that, versus now, where everyone watches it whatever they want, whenever they want, and they can watch it. You can be,
you can just binge it.
You can binge it. And you can be the whole season ahead of time, and you expect that because you wanted to go fast, everything else should be fast in your life. But the reality of it is, you want to go fast. You want to watch all the Seinfelds right now, but you want to have your house built right now, and you want all your decisions to be made, and you want to change your mind and have your decisions be implemented immediately. But the reality of it is the guys that are going to do that for you have commitments to take care of other people's homes. So pretty much streaming messed up the entire home building industry. I mean, so when it's all said and done, it's a streaming. Netflix did this. Which I don't know if that even answered the question, but that was, I started.
No, I mean, it does make sense that, we want the electricians to install everything right at once. We want the cabinets to be up right at once, but if we haven't laid the foundation, we have nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
And
then if there's missing parts, I have people, they ship this stuff from wherever, China, Europe, whatever, and you get missing parts, and you have to wait 2-3 weeks, a month to get the part back in. I mean.
Sure, yeah. So those things definitely have an impact on the overall timeline of the build. So what does a healthy pace look like when you're building a home?
I wonder if Netflix is going to sponsor us now.
Call them up. They'll love this episode.
Maybe Blanton's will. There is no healthy pace. There's significant benchmarks to a home. Your foundation is one. Getting dried in is one. Your cabinets, getting your cabinets approved is our big one, because once your cabinets approved, we can pretty much do our electrical. If we do our electrical before cabinets, it creates challenges. Paint's a big one. So there's benchmarks. In every house, every project there's a different amount of time to go. So you can't really, ideally, we used to be able to build homes when I started in 92, 93. We were building homes in 93, geez, I'm old. When you started in 92, 93, I remember we would do houses in 7 or 8 months, but now they're getting bigger and more complicated. Now houses take 12 to 18 months, and these large estates, these large estates can take 2, 3, 4 years.
Okay. And I guess I meant it more, less as a timeline or a definitive timeline on when you can expect the house to be done, but more of what the process looks like, what that healthy pace looks like. And it seems to me that we have benchmarks in place. So as long as we're hitting our benchmarks in a reasonable time and communicating that with our owners, that seems to be a healthy pace.
So you're saying I didn't answer your question?
Yeah, and I answered it for it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't quantify a pace for how every house is different, but your biggest, as an owner, you want to make your decisions. You want to take some time to make your decisions, a modest amount of time, and you want to be able to be at peace with the decision you make. And the fewer unanswered questions we have, the more timely we can be in building the home. So
if an owner says, I need more time to make this decision, what is your response?
No. We give them time. Yeah, we give them time. But we also try to find out. What their concern. We want to know what the concern is, or what their fear is, what their issue is, because sometimes we can provide them additional information to help them make the decision.
Sure, and it may impact other design. Aspects of the home.
Oh yeah, because we ask a lot of questions, because sometimes they'll say, well, I'm thinking about doing, and whenever they say I'm thinking about, it's like red alert, red alert, red alert. Danger, Will Robinson.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, no, Will Robinson.
Lost in Space, great show. What happens when you say I'm thinking about, or I wonder if we should, those are prompts for us to inquire more, because sometimes they're thinking about doing something else, and then the sooner we find out about that, we can coach them on will that work, or what we should do to accommodate that, or like somebody says, I wonder about light lifts. We have these motorized light lifts. Well, there's certain things that we have to do to put that in, and we have to do it pretty early in the process. So if somebody's thinking about that, we want to get it right on it.
Right. Yeah. There's weight that is involved in that. The wire that
framing
comes down.
Yeah.
How does slowing down reduce stress? We talked about the trades essentially living with you in your home after you move in.
Okay, so I digress again. So when Cindy, my beautiful, smart wife who makes great food, she makes pasta, and sometimes she's trying to knock it all out and just get it real quick because she's in a hurry to go to something or whatever, and it won't cook all the way through, and or does not, I'll eat it because I'll eat anything, but and then it comes out, look, not quite cooked. She rushed it to get so we got the dinner. I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing.
Well, she doesn't watch. But you rushed the meal. So yeah, you got the meal. You're out there and stuff, but maybe it wasn't quite as good as you had hoped. Instead of taking an extra 5 or 10 minutes to make sure the pasta gets cooked all the way through.
So does this?
She never did that. That was just a random example.
Does this apply to desserts too? If you eat your dessert before your meal?
Yeah, if you do a cake and you don't let it cool and you put the icing on too fast, you can destroy it.
So what you're saying is dessert before your meal is actually.
You should always eat dessert first.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you take a cake out of the oven and you don't let it cool before you ice it, then you can destroy it. Now I'll still eat it, but it's probably not going to be, for most people, probably not be as enjoyable as it could be.
And that's why we're doing it. That's why we're slowing our
putting the icing on
down.
too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is. Don't put the icing on your house too fast. So take your time, let the house cool, let it marinate. Let the meat marinate, like you marinate meat. The barbecue, they let it marinate. Let it marinate, savor it, think about it, anticipate it, and then when it's done, it's going to be badass. Wait a minute, I can't. Oh, I said that. I already said
it. We'll just bleep it out.
Beep.
If an owner has been through this process before, have you ever seen an experienced owner that's been through it, but maybe they're with a first-time builder, or a builder that doesn't really understand that we need to slow things down, and And let the house marinate.
That should be on the signs. Let it marinate.
Let the house marinate.
You know, and I'd say, you know, I mean, there is a tendency, when I was younger, I remember a story. I won't tell it because it's probably not relevant, but it would have been funny. But no, when you're starting out in the buildings, you want to go. You want to see activity, and after so many times, you realize that activity is not productivity. So you have all this activity going on. You want to finish the house, push the owner to make a decision. You push the owner to make a decision just to get it done so you can go to the next step. And then what happens is you get further in the process, and even an experienced owner may say, "Oh, we should have talked about this. We didn't talk about this." Now, I'm not going to say you're going to hit. There's no way we can't. No builder, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 30 years, can hit everything. It's not possible. But the more deliberate time we take in the process, the less opportunities for things to get missed, and better value in the long run.
And so, if you could give one piece of advice to our owners, it would be to slow down.
Yeah, let it marinate. Yeah, just take your time, and then when you make your decision, be at peace with your decision.
How do owners make sure that they're at peace with the decision? Because when we talk about the tile can be a half an inch or it can be a foot, just depending on if it's for the backsplash or if it's tile for their floor. How do they know that they're at peace with it before it goes down?
There's so many different personalities. Some people are, some people aren't.
Well, so if they're questioning it, I don't know if I like this. That would prompt an owner to maybe look at some other things. Well,
we'd stop and say, okay, here are the pros and the cons. What are your expectations? If they share expectations with us that are not realistic, then we'll tell them and say, you need to be prepared that this is what usually happens. You know, bigger tile takes more time to prep. It's harder to level. It takes just a very slow process versus smaller tile on floors, or glossy. Just all different things. Or travertine's very soft. It's going to chip when you walk on it. You can seal it. Doesn't matter. You're still going to walk on it. It's going to chip over time. So we make sure their expectations are in line with what they decided. And if they can't come to peace with that, then we need to stop and have a serious discussion. But usually, if you talk them through that, they'll usually come to peace that this is what we decided. This is what I want. This is why I want it. We just move on down the road. It's a lot of therapy.
Okay, got it. So hire a therapist after you get your builder.
We're the therapist.
Okay.
That's
okay, just call Mike.
Yes.
He'll listen.
yeah, that'll work.
Okay. So in the process, there are going to be times where maybe making a decision faster is a little bit better. So where are those spots? Or maybe where should you slow down if you want everything else to be sped up?
Approving samples is a big deal. So the painter puts a paint on the wall. If you're happy with it, go with it. If you're not, then you need to let people know I'm not quite sure about it, and let's talk it through. The other thing about that is you want to, if the painter puts samples on the wall on a Thursday, we really want to get you there as quick as possible. We don't want to wait till you show up on Monday, the following Monday, to approve or say there's a problem, because then if you say there's a problem, then we have to wait 2 more days to do samples, and you could lose a week or 2 weeks on the house doing that. So being as timely as you can and looking at the samples and giving feedback as quickly as possible will help.
Well, great, Mike. Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's one more thing. Stop watching those TV shows.
HGTV specifically.
You cannot remodel a kitchen for $30,000, and it can't be done in 30 minutes.
Yeah, people move in right after the show is done, and you think that all happens within that one day.
The guy doing the TV show says don't watch TV shows.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
We're not on TV
Oh,
yet.
okay, yeah. All right. No, we won't be.
Well, thank you, Mike. This has been excellent. Is there anything else that we didn't touch that you want to talk about?
Slow is fast, fast is slow. So follow your builder's lead. He or she will walk you through the process and tell you what you need to be focused on. And if you're timely with doing that and you're communicating with your builder about your concerns or questions, then they can help you work through that. But just making rash decisions or just for the sake of trying to see somebody out there on the job working will not serve you well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching Uniqueness Built In. Have you seen something interesting on our show that you would like us to elaborate on? Or perhaps you've seen something out in the wild that you want us to talk about on our show? Feel free to email us at the email on the screen, info@garabedianproperties.com.